my interest. And whatever difficult words, and another thing which was advised to me was underline the difficult words and take up a dictionary, find out its meaning, and know the reference, the context in which the word has been used. Because sometimes the words, have a double meaning also. And in fact, whatever you learn, like one word, but how you put it into practice, unless you put a word into a sentence, you will not be able to get the meaning of the word at all. Because if I ask you to learn 10 difficult words today, find out its meaning, grasp it, and learn, rote learning. You learn those 10 words. Today you learn, tomorrow you revise, and if I ask you the meaning, you are able to produce it. But then you do not know how to put it into a sentence. And if you do not know how to put the words into the sentence, naturally that is not learning and that is not understanding. So one thing is very important is read as much as you can in your free time, because naturally during your class hours you are reading your text, you're reading your syllabus. But outside that, because attending classes or going through the text or the syllabus is one thing, but that is not a way of improving your language. For that you have to toil, you have to work hard, you have to put in hours of service. वही बात है, कोई चीज, I mean, if you're even working in a company, if you're working in a profession, so if you put in extra time, extra work, the output is good. So in the same way, if you want to master a language and if you want to get the worth of it, you have to put extra hours of learning. And learning does not mean that you just read a book and you just go through the pages, just find out the meanings. No, have fun. That is sharing it with your partners, with your friends, talking over about it, and discussing those points, verbally or through writing, texting the messages. And sometimes whatever you are reading, try to recite, try to speak those phrases, in your with your friends, with your parents at home, with your elders. And if you do not have, and if you feel shy in speaking those phrases with your friends or with your elders, and why do you feel shy? You feel inhibited because you feel, am I going wrong? Probably I may be wrong in uttering those words, in uttering those phrases. Then speak to your own self, pronounce it in front of your own self, in front of the mirror, and see, and then go and find out, check whether it is correct or not. And then above everything, you must believe in yourself. You must have confidence, because confidence is the greatest assets towards achieving your goals and in life. Take risks and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because failures are always stepping stones to success. And mistakes only give you opportunities to learn, because if you do not fall down, if the child does not fall down, it will not, he or she will not take steps to move forward. The child will not stand up to move forward. So you can, if you are wanting to speak English, if you are wanting to learn English, you must have the confidence to learn. And another thing is, don't you think, is it not enjoyable to learn and practice what you learned, as I've just said, and try and do it in a fun way? Don't make it a task. Don't find it a boring thing, that you have to sit for hours and watching, and reading and learning. But watch TV serials or something in English, watch videos, and online media is there to assist you in hearing this language, and think in English. And so whatever you are thinking, like if you have to eat food, then don't think कि मुझे खाना खाना है. I have to take my lunch. I have to eat my dinner, isn't it? Think those simple sentences in English. And if you're planning a day or deciding what food to order, then try to order it in English. Like if you go home and say, Mummy, aaj mera pizza khane ka man hai. Don't say this in Hindi. Say it in English. Mummy, I want to have pizza today. So if you are a social person and if you have friends with you, You can always find English speakers around you. And in fact, online also you can find certain English podcasts to study English for longer hours. And have a gathering, have a group of friends who are interested to be with you and to support you. Because things, there are certain times when you do not get the support at home. I mean, probably your parents are not adept to support you or to speak in English. And in fact, if you are speaking English, they might shut you down that, अरे English में मत बोलो, हिंदी में बताओ क्या कहना चाहते हो, isn't it? So then it might cast a spell upon you, a sense of depression. But don't give up. Just as Manji Shukla was giving an example of Surabhi Gautam, don't give up, don't lose hope. And about the linguistics, of course, the basic thing is learning grammar. You must know your English tenses, your parts of speech, your clauses, your phrases, and try to focus on the fluency of it. So the technical part, of course, Sudha is going to tell you, but in your daily courses, at least you should be able to learn the common phrases, like basic English phrase for beginners like you are, किसी से भी कुछ लिया, thank you so much कहो, I really appreciate you, or अगर कोई तुमसे help मांगा, how can I help you, and I'll be with you in a moment. किसी ने तुमसे कहा, मांगी help, I'll be with you in a moment. So these are common phrases which you hear over and over again, and you must make a note of it, you must repeat it, and you must put it in your own language. And another important thing, let me just give you a tip of it. That is, whenever you notice a word, whenever you notice a phrase which the others have been speaking for some time, keep a diary with you. Take up a diary or a notebook, always keep it as your possession, as your friend. That diary should be your friend, and make notes in that. And don't feel shy in doing it, because sometimes it happens, you hear things, and then with the passage of time, after a few hours, you tend to forget it. But there should be a reminder, जैसे कि clock है. The clock, the time is a reminder कि नहीं, at this time I had planned that I have to do this, and so I must get back. Oh, it's already 7 and I have to do this work, isn't it? So this reminder is your own personal diary. And at the same time, if you see the brain of a human being, and the brain, of course, even my brain, I will say, we also tend to forget. We are all forgetful, isn't it? We tend to forget many things and we don't remember it in detail. So sometimes we have to take notes also. We have to keep a reminder to our own selves. And what happens is that sometimes we tend to remember things which are not important, and sometimes remember things which are important. But if you learn one phrase once and never read or hear it again, you will never remember it. So try to review once within a few minutes. And you should also focus most of your time to listen to English. Once you have heard phrases or sentences a few times, start using them in your daily routine. Talk to whoever you can. If you can't find anyone, then talk to your own selves. And another important thing, which I learned, and therefore I'm sharing it with you. Like I am teaching Macbeth to my students. I don't know how much the students are interested or grasping, but when I go, I'm reciting those soliloquies, and sometimes I tell my children that learn these soliloquies by heart, because these soliloquies means the speech that is spoken by the character to one's own self, to his own self. Solo is one single person, and Loki is the speech spoken by one's own self. And there Macbeth was talking about the basic use and the basic qualities of sleep. So he had said, sleep, the innocent sleep, the balm of hurt minds, the chief nourisher of life, isn't it? Ye sari cheez, the sleep that travels up the sleeve of care. So jitni bhi ye sleep ki definitions thi, that Macbeth was speaking, and especially after doing the murder of King Duncan, he realized that now Macbeth has murdered sleep, and Macbeth shall sleep no more. So it is not the sleep that he has murdered, but he has murdered the peace of mind. And you can imagine how Shakespeare is associating sleep with peace. So when I say learn this speech, children feel कि नहीं, एग्जाम तो होना नहीं, कोई पूछेगा तो है नहीं, और एग्जाम में रेफरेंस टू द कॉन्टेक्स्ट आएगा नहीं, तो हम क्यों पढ़ें? Why should I? Why should I? What is the need? And when I tell them, and I'm telling you also, why I'm asking you to learn, because make it a part of your conversation, make it your vocabulary. And if anybody ever asks you the importance of sleep, you quote the words of Shakespeare. You quote the words of Macbeth, who spoke about sleep in this particular drama. So naturally, and don't speak as if you are as if Macbeth is speaking or Shakespeare is speaking. Speak for your own self, because see, I know the importance of sleep. I have learned this during the course of my life. So that becomes your vocabulary, that becomes your learning. And reading and writing are also equally important, because you probably, whatever you have not learned, you have to make it more and more in a practice form by writing and writing. Because you see, learning and rote learning is one thing, but if you write, like if I give you a word to learn, and then I ask you to put it into a sentence, and unless and you write, you think and you write that sentence, so वही है कि चीज को इस्तेमाल करना आ जाएगा, isn't it? Supposing somebody gives you like if I give you a cake to eat, I say this is a cake and this is very delicious and all that, अच्छा वो रखा है, but unless and until you eat that cake, how will you know the taste? How would you know whether it suits you or not? So putting into practice anything which you get, your parents give you a new pen to write, a very good pen, Parker's pen to write, and you say, well, ये तो बहुत अच्छा है, देखने में बहुत सुंदर है, इतना कीमती पेन है, इसको तो मैं रख के रहूंगी. Why? It has been given to put to use. Until you put it to use, how will you know the worth of that or the beauty of that pen? So whenever you are learning a word also, then learn it in all its with all its importance. Like beauty is noun, and इसी को beautiful कहो तो वो adjective हो जाएगा, और beautifully use करोगे तो it will become adverb. So one word can be used in a multifarious way. That is more the grammatical part of it. But you have to learn it. And ये नहीं कि if you have learned the noun beauty, तो अब कहीं भी तुम्हें कोई you are looking beautiful कहोगे कि you are looking beauty, isn't it? So right use of the word should be there. And English is not something you can grasp within a day or two or within an hour or so, but it is important that you give time to your language and be very natural about it. And another important aspect and another important way where how you can learn this language is tell your story of tell your friend a story. Like you have तुमने कोई story like अभी मंजरी मैम ने कहानी बताई सुरभि गौतम की, isn't it? She related in Hindi who she was and what she did in life, isn't it? Now you when you go back home and you want to tell your mother that, mother, I want to tell you a story about Surabhi Gautam and how enterprising she was, and how how she stood the test of time, and in spite of all the odds, she really made her way and became the first IAS officer, isn't it? So अब यही कहानी को तुम अपने शब्दों में इंग्लिश में जाके अपने पेरेंट्स या अपने नोन पर्सन्स को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को सुनाओ, या वॉट एवर स्टोरी, इवन द किंडरगार्टन स्टोरी सिंड्रेला वगैरह है और स्लीपिंग ब्यूटी है, कोई भी कहानी तुमने अगर हिंदी में भी पढ़ी है, देन रिसाइट इट इन इंग्लिश, putting it into practice. You may go wrong in your and a very, very important task is your pronunciations also. So that is also very important. And whatever you do, and it's not only through lecture methods that you can grasp this language. You can do it in a different manner. You can do it by having making projects, as well as you can go through many aspects of it. But whatever it is, another important thing is, don't go in for trash literature. Whenever you are reading good books, then read really classic literature and read newspapers, and don't depend much on social media. So the tip is a classic one for the good reason, because when learning, we often enjoy a new word or phrase so much that forgetting it seems impossible. And another important aspect is, you can always subscribe to your YouTube channels, and you can have podcasts, etc. You make use of your friends who know English, and put in a lot of questions, because curiosity kills a man, and unless and until you are curious to know your answers, you will not be able to do so. So I think I should not indulge much into it, because I must give time to Sudha to delve into the technicalities of the linguistics. So I end here, but before I end, I would say that where there is a will, there is a way. And as a hawk is a bird, it flies not very high with one wing. Even so, a man, he will reach his excellence, or rather, he cannot reach his excellence with one single tongue or with one single language. So, know as many languages as you can, but if not more, at least two will suffice. So, I hope I've been able to drill something into you. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirja ma'am. Students gave me a number of questions. They were asking the solutions of the problems. And I
Yes.
suppose after this lecture, a number of problems was solved automatically. Whatever was going on in their mind, almost a number of things have got a solution. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so
I
much.
said Sudha should get more chance, to delve into that.
Yes, yes. Yes, she's just going to join for the lecture. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
So listen to English, read as much as possible, read newspapers daily, and just murder sleep of mind. That is, just keep yourself awakened to learning every moment. Think in English and practice the things, and don't give up was the last thing, and not the least. So we got a number of tips from practical things, practical tips we got from Nirja ma'am, wise words from the wise person, and going to solve the problems of the students. Thank you, ma'am. Now, for the technical things which are remaining in the minds of the students, and a few other things, because she's the B.Ed counselor also. So practically, in the people teachers, a number of confusions are going on in their minds. What to do when they join their schools? What to do when they go to the industries to join the jobs? And how to be an impressive personality when they go for the interview. So a number of problems are there. And all the staff members, from Dr. B.K. Singh to Aruna ma'am to Ranjana ma'am, Manju ma'am, Mamta ma'am, all the seniors, and then from all the other people, Baldeep is there, Satyam is there, Saurabh sir is there, and Meenakshi technically, scientifically tells everything to them. Satyam is there. All are telling them about the things the whole year, and we all tell them that language is not a bar. You can go for the things, for the expression, in any language, using any terminology, but they should be very transparent, they should be very impressive and clear. Dr. Swedha, now the students are waiting for you. We all of us are also waiting for you. Please, welcome to you. And we are waiting for your wise words for the students. Dr. Swedha Mishra.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such kind and warm words. What do I speak after listening to my mentor, Nirja ma'am? It is truly so, I feel honored, I feel so thrilled, enthused, and humbled together, sharing the stage with Nirja ma'am, with Manjari ma'am, and then with Shalini ma'am. All of them have been my mentors. However, I will try to do as much justice as I can to the task given to me. So, as Shalini ma'am told me, I'll be getting some time to talk, to present in general how communication can be enhanced, and then we'll have more of a question answer session and interactive session with the students. So I would prefer quickly condensing and summing up things, and then we might open the house for questions, and we can have more of an interactive session with the students. So I'll quickly share.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll quickly share my. Can I share my screen? Because it shows it's disabled, I believe. Am I allowed to share my screen, ma'am?
Yeah, Sudha, yes, go on.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, Sudha, ma'am. I'm making you co-host, and then you can share your screen, ma'am.
All right, thank you. We have actually a positive time because the time for this workshop, I would say, given to me was 5 to 6:30, and it's already 6. So in 15-20 minutes, I'll try to wind up things, and then I would want to have discussion with the students as much as possible, because Shalini ma'am shared with me, a plethora of questions
Oh,
which need to be answered. So better we quickly fall into question answers and interactions with the students. Nirja ma'am has almost covered everything which I wanted to talk about. So when I talk about it, it will be just a reiteration and reinforcement of the same thing. So it will be, in fact, easy for me to drive things home. Um, I'm still not getting the
Yes, ma'am.
opportunity.
I'll just make it.
So there is not much that needs to be shared, but still I'll try adding a few more things to what Nirja ma'am said.
Just a second, ma'am. Ma'am, you are co-host now. You
All
can
right.
share yourself. Share the screen
All
now.
right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So let me know once the screen gets visible. Is my screen visible?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, we'll be talking about effective communication skills, the common problems, and their remedies. I am not going to talk very much into technicalities of the subject, because I was told that we are basically talking about the basic problems that the students face, and what could be the probable remedies for them. So I start with a very common concern that everybody has. That is, if you have not been learning English for very long, if you have started learning recently, uh, it is at times very hard to clearly express yourself. You might be able to read, you might be able to comprehend what is being spoken, but when it comes to actually speaking and making yourself clearly understood, there people at times find it very difficult. That is because of several factors. It could be due to inhibitions which you have. What would people think? I would be laughed at, or I will make such a fool of myself. So all these inhibitions stop you from speaking. So you might struggle to express yourself. Even if you have practiced your grammatical skills to perfection, or even if you can read the books entirely, I can read very well. I can comprehend everything out of what I read. My grammar is very good. In fact, I would rather stress that I have seen the grammar of the Hindi medium school students better than the grammar of the English medium school students. That's a fact, because we have students coming from across all cross sections of the society, from all cross sections of India. And I find that the students who've got Hindi medium background, their grammatical foundations are very strong. And the students who come from English medium, they hardly bother about grammar. So you have practiced your grammatical skills to perfection. You can read books entirely. If I give you to read something, you'll be able to read. You'll be able to comprehend. You'll be able to understand. You might even have endless amount of vocabulary that you have memorized. But when it comes to speaking, you fluster, you fail, or you kind of shrink, do not want to or cannot. When it comes to speaking, you forget everything that you have learned. So that's a very common problem people have. So with this, when we think of remedies, what could be done? So I'll just try to share these things in a nutshell. So when you talk about developing your English communication skills, the most common things that could be done, the most common remedies that could be taken as help would be, number one, as Nirja ma'am said, watch and read good English stuff regularly. So what do I watch? Watch anything that is in English and which falls under your genre of interest. News, start watching English news. You might start watching English web series with subtitles initially, and later on you might start watching without subtitles. Watch good movies. Watch debates and discussions in English, whatever. And read good English stuff. Start reading from small stories. Start reading news. As Nirja ma'am said, start reading news. I remember my times. Honestly speaking, I was a student of Saraswati Shishu Mandir till class 5. So total exposure to Hindi and Sanskrit. That was the languages. These were the languages which we were exposed to most of the times. So English was just one subject. So all through the day, we had exposure to English only 1 hour every day. That's it. And after that, we forgot about it. So then after class 5, I was sent to a Hindi medium school because my father was transferred to a place where we did not have the resources and we did not have the possibilities and opportunities. So I was sent to a Hindi medium school for next 2 years. And after that, I was suddenly entered into a convent school. So that transition was the hardest phase of my life. That transition from altogether Hindi medium to a convent school was the hardest thing that I had to face. But then I had wonderful people to suggest me good things. My principal, I remember even today, Dr. Sneh Kumar, amazing person. I will never forget all my life. I really admire her like anything. So she was the one who suggested that, Sudha, start doing one thing. As you read the newspapers, take highlighters. Take highlighters of 3-4 colors and give a symbolic name to each color. So red means something which I am seeing for the first time in life. I've never seen this word ever. Orange, or maybe let us say blue, would mean that I have read it once or twice, but I do not know the meaning. I've never used it. I do not know the meaning. It has gone across my eyes once or twice. Yellow would mean that I have seen this word, I know the meaning, but I do not use it often. It's a passive vocabulary. It's my passive vocabulary. And green means it is my active vocabulary. I use it, I know it, I understand. I know the contextual meanings, I know the connotations and denotations of the word, everything. And whenever you read an article, highlight every word with the color that applies to it. So initially I started highlighting every word. If it was, I started reading the editorials of the Hindu every day, the Times of India every day. So when I would read, I would highlight the entire editorial with different colors. So my editorial would become red, green, yellow, blue all through. And initially I found that majority of the portion was red. It was all red, which means 90% of the part was the one which I never heard about. And green was the minimal, here and there a few spots of green, which means my active vocabulary was only 2% or 5%. But then when I started doing it regularly, I found that magic happening, Within 4 or 5 months, I found that magic happening. My green started expanding, my red started, shrinking, yellow started expanding. So I found that, dramatic change happening. So then that gave me so much of confidence that yes, now this word seems to be known. So that is one very interesting way of enhancing your vocabulary. Start reading stuff regularly and make it a habit. Take a story or a small book, keep it in your bag, carry it everywhere you go. Let it be there. Even if you're not reading, every time you put your hand in your bag, it will remind you, see, there is a task which you're not doing. So keep it with you all the time. Carry it everywhere. Force yourself. Impose it upon yourself. So watch and read good stuff every day. There could be even, very interesting movies and serials are there, which you will feel enticed with when you start watching. There are some very interesting kid stuff. Earlier I was watching this anime with my son. The name was The Death Note. It's an anime, the Japanese animated serial. But then when I started watching, I was not fascinated by the story, but I was first fascinated by that glibness, that beauty of language the character speaks. And I finished the entire series of 35 to 40 episodes. Start watching good stuff, reading good stuff regularly. And second thing that you need to enhance your English is slowing down. It will not happen overnight. You have to convince yourself it will never happen overnight. It will take persistent efforts. It will not happen okay, today I started doing it, so maybe tomorrow or after a month I expect myself to be excellent speaker. No, it's going to take time. So convince yourself, tell yourself that it requires persistence. You have to be persistent, you have to be perseverant, and you have to trust that it will happen, though it will happen slowly, but it will happen. So slow down, listen to others, find out groups, find out people, learn to be quiet and learn to be an excellent listener. Whenever you are traveling, you are sitting somewhere, there are people talking, listen to them, take mental notes. That is something that can help. Learn sentences instead of words. So whenever you come across a new word, never memorize the word. It's not going to help. When it comes to speak or write, it will vanish. So instead of words, learn sentences. Learn the usage of the word. If you come across a new word, learn the usage. Memorize a sentence related to the word. Do not memorize the word. And make your lists. Make your vocab lists. For example, you might start making list of the kinds of people you know. अपने आसपास देखो how many kinds of people are there, and what Hindi adjectives would you give them? Ziddi, Ghamandi, Nachada, Gussail, Jagdalu, Jujaru. How many words? Do you really have those words in English? If you had to describe people around you, do you have sufficient words? So start making your list. Lists of adjectives that can be used to describe people. List of important actions. Every action has a name. Even if if you are scared of something and you do this, even this has a name. That is called gas. Every action, every possible action has a name. So learn, memorize those, make a list of all those actions. Actions are associated with emotions. Slightest of variation in your action will have a different word. For example, let us say walking. Walking is a physical phenomena. You walk. So it has a speed, a natural speed, normal speed. But the moment you add a purpose or emotion with this walking, there will always be a new word. For example, you wake up in the morning, you are tired, not tired actually, you're lazy, you're lethargic, and the way you walk in the morning from your bed, let us say, to the washroom or to the wash basin or to the kitchen, you don't walk at the normal pace and that mood and that environment. So I will not use the word, using the word I somehow walked till the wash basin or I somehow walked till the kitchen would not express your emotion. We need a more specific word that expresses that exact emotion and that exact pace rate of walking. So here comes the new word, that is ambling. Amble, A-M-B-L-E. I changed the purpose. Now the weather is very beautiful and I want to have a pleasure of walking in the garden. So there I went on a walk. No, it doesn't express my emotion. I need a more specific word. हिंदी में क्या बोलेंगे? What will be the exact word for this? टहलना. तब चलना नहीं होगा. चलना is that technical word for walking, physical phenomena. तब मैं गार्डन में चल रहा था will not express, जैसे हिंदी में मैं बगीचे में चल रहा था, it will not give you the exact emotion or exact feeling or exact purpose. Similarly, I was walking in the garden because the weather was beautiful and I was enjoying, will not give that feeling. So for that walking, I need a different word. So here comes strolling. We were strolling in the garden and enjoying the weather. So make lists with slightest of variations. Imagine a situation that, you are in a corridor walking to, let us say, a venue for B.Ed girls, let us say, walking to the class, and you know that you are late for the class. You're late for the class. You can see your principal standing in the corridor, so you cannot run. But however, since you need to reach the class, you take very large steps, very long steps, and you try to reach the class quickly. So you are not running, you are still walking, but the steps are very long. Then again, you will not say we walked to the classroom. Right. So you need exact word to show what the situation was. Then here comes the word striding, stride. So you amble, you walk, you stroll, you stride. Maybe when you are doing it for fitness, it would be jog. So a simple word walk can have so many variants. Each variant having a specific purpose and a specific emotion attached to it. Excuse me. So we need to memorize lists. Make a list of, and specifically what kind of lists we need? We need the lists of types of people we know, very commonly used words, adjectives. How do I express my appreciation of things? How do I appreciate things? What are the words? So I was amazed could be one. After that, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's amazing. Do you have words beyond that? So how many words of qualifying things or how many words of describing things do you have? Make a list of that. Make a list of actions. Make a list of, let us say, even you are talking about the weather. Do you have the lists to describe every small variation? The weather is what? So it's sunny today, it's raining today, it's hot today, it's warm today. 3-4 words beyond that. आज हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, फुहार पड़ रही है, बूंदाबांदी हो रही है, धुंध छाई हुई है. So need variations. Make a list of all. Make your own list. Take your own diary and make your own lists. And the best way is make your list in Hindi. The problem is we do not know what we do not know. ये सबसे बड़ी problem है. We know what we know, but we do not know what we do not know. So first we have to find out what is it that I do not know. उसके बाद ढूंढना is very easy. You can find out the English words. But first you need the list that you need to prepare. So make your list in Hindi. The moment a word comes to your mind, make a list in Hindi. Then try to find out. There are teachers, there is dictionary, there are online, so many platforms. Use Google Translate, that is so helpful. You can find the words anywhere, but first you need to find out what is it that you want to find. So make your list. Let it be in Hindi. Make your list. And then start working on it. When you do this, your mind and your eyes and your hands would be working together. And when you have this combined effort of all the sense organs, you generally tend to have more permanent memory. Do this. Make your vocabulary lists. And secondly, develop your mnemonics. Very interesting way of learning language, you know. Develop your mnemonics. For example, today I learned a word, let us say pedantic, a new word to me, pedantic, something, you know, very bookish, or a person who is all the time trying to teach you, or a person who is all the time, you know, trying to show that he knows better than everyone else is pedantic. How to remember this word? Maybe tomorrow when it comes to speaking, I'll forget. So the best way is develop a mnemonic. Mnemonic means something that acts as a reminder. कोई ऐसी चीज tricky or interesting which will help you remember this word forever. For example, you might associate someone's name with it. So you might add a word after that. You know, pedantic Satish. So maybe every time you think of pedantic Satish will come into mind, and you can associate, okay, why I named or why I associated this word with Satish. Because there is one very peculiar quality that I was talking about. I remember when I was doing this, um, with one batch of my students in around 2006-7. So we were working on these mnemonics. We were developing mnemonics, and one of my students, the word I gave was abash. Develop a mnemonic for abash that you remember this word forever. And one very creative student told me that we can do one thing, ma'am. I said, what? Well, let us say Abhishek and Aishwarya. Abhishek proposing Aishwarya for marriage and Aishwarya denying it. What will be the feeling that Abhishek has? So everybody said, of course, he will be actually he will be embarrassed. Correct. So take a half of Abhishek, ABH, and from Ash take ASH. So ABASH, Abhishek and Aishwarya. And the feeling was embarrassment. So abash would mean embarrassment or causing embarrassment to somebody. So every time we, even today when I talk to the students of that batch, we remember this word abash. So develop mnemonics. Something that is so intriguing, something that is so funny or interesting, or something so peculiar that this word will be automatically reminded to you in future whenever you come across a word. So develop your own mnemonics.
Sudha,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, all these are very charming discussions. Students are thinking that charming ma'am is there, we want to talk to her now. Right?
Yes, so these were the common things, and now finally I will show you only a few quickly. I knew that now I'll not be able to finish off things. The time is really, we have positive time, it's already 6:20. So I'll quickly show you a few links. Take note of these links, they are definitely going to help you a lot. Take note of these links. Yes, so you can use this BBC Learning English, not just for your language enhancement, but even in future when you become teachers, you can use them as tools of teaching. Start with visiting this BBC Learning English regularly. It's going to help you a lot. You have n number of exercises, games, everything. Then there is another platform, Talk English, talkenglish.com. The other is English Club. And vocabulary.com is my favorite. Start visiting vocabulary.com regularly. It will give you n number of exercises to help build your vocabulary. All right, so I would end here and we can open for discussions.
Thank you, Sudha. Thank you so much. Now the session is going to be, more and more interesting when, Nisha ma'am is there, when Sudha is there, when all my faculty members are there, because all these are very wise people and have experience of life also in the teaching profession since last many years. So this session, I'm handing over to Dr. Jyoti Pejal, because, she is the technical manager also here. She's the, manager of the question answer session also. And she has a deep understanding of the students' questionnaire too. So I invite Dr. Jyoti Vejal to start with the session, please. Dr. Jyoti, are you there? Okay, meanwhile, she's joining us. I am taking one question. As soon as she comes, she will be, interacting with us. Dr. Jyoti, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you start with the questions. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, Sudha ma'am.
Good evening.
Now I would request our participants, if they have any questions, they can write in the chat box and we will put up before the source. Yes. I believe I'm there, ma'am.
Yeah, you are visible and audible both.
I'm audible.
Yeah. Both the things are there. Yes, Manju ma'am is there now. Yes, we can see her.
चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चन है ज्योति?
Yes.
Actually, meanwhile, I'm taking a question from Kanchan Sonkar.
Right. Yes, ma'am, you take up the question, then I will
two questions
pose
I'm
the next
taking.
question.
Nirja ma'am and Sudha ma'am both are listening to the question. Kanchan Sonkar was writing, sometimes I find difficulty to know the proper meaning of some words while reading or teaching English literature. Second, sometimes I find difficulty to explain the proper meaning of the lines in poetry section. These are two problems which I usually face while reading or teaching English subjects. Nirja ma'am, I invite you first, please. Will you take this question? That they are having the problems actually in poetry section also, as well as in prose sections also. So what is going to be the solution for them?
Nirja ma'am, you are muted.
Now, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
So see, if you are having problem in teaching English, so whatever, first of all, you should know your subject, what you are teaching, isn't it? When you enter the class, see, we are all novice and apprentices whenever we start a work, and you are pupil teachers. You are pupil teachers, so you are making your debut in that, isn't it? You are not masters as teachers. And so when we began our teaching, right from 1980, you will say, when we had to go for the class, then we used to prepare ourselves very well, because we are going to speak to our students, and the students should be able to understand whatever I'm teaching. So naturally, you cannot enter a class and start teaching your prose work, of whatever story or whatever you are taking up, if your concept is not clear. So do hard work in knowing your text, you're knowing your subject, whatever you are teaching. Like if you are teaching an essay, you are teaching an essay in class, then you should read that essay, find out, and if there are difficult words, you do not know the meaning, take up a dictionary. Hamare zamane mein to dictionary hoti thi, we used to consult a lot of dictionary. But these days, a Google master is there for you all just to click the button and get the meaning of the word, isn't it? In fact, if you do not know the meaning of a sentence also, if not just a word, but the proper sentence in that particular text, which you do not follow, and you do not know if the children, if I'm explaining in class, how will I explain? So just look it up in the from this thing, technically from the Google Master or from dictionary, whatever it is, write it down. That is what I said. You must have a diary. You must note it down, isn't it? And then after doing that revision, when you enter the class, then your concept is clear. Whenever you come to that particular point or particular sentence, you know its meaning, and therefore you will be able to explain. And the more you talk, and let me tell you a very, very wise thing. I mean, teaching does not come just by reading and explaining, but the more the knowledge is give and take. The more you talk, the more you explain, the more you enter in the subject, the more you learn yourself. I'm telling you, this is what I have learned as a teacher. शुरू में I also used to falter, you know, कि पता नहीं हम class में जाएंगे, whether I'll be able to explain or not. But luckily, I mean, God did give me the strength to do that. But this was, you must know your subject very well. And regarding poetry, if you do not know the passage or the meaning of that poem, then either look up take up that particular poem, go to the Google Master, or go to the particular explanation, I mean, where you can get the meaning of it, or you go to your senior teacher and ask the explanation of that particular poem. That is, learn and master it yourself, know it. Supposing there is a poem, 3 years she grew in sun and shower, then nature said a lovely afar, on earth was never sown of, the Wordsworth poem, Lucy poem, and you do not know the meaning. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. You will say, well, this poet is saying 3 years she grew in sun and shower. What is the meaning of sun and shower out here, isn't it? So, I mean, it is the growth of the child that the poet is describing in conjugation with nature, in companionship with nature, that nature is the teacher and all that. So, मतलब वही बात हम बता रहे हैं कि either you go to your elders, your teachers, your guru, in order to learn the meaning of that particular passage, or you take up help from the other technical fields like online Google or whatever, or any book you have for that explanation. So learn your text before entering the class, and then only, I'm sure you won't have any difficulty.
Yeah.
And the more you explain, एक बार नहीं 4 बार लोगों को explain करोगे तो खुद अच्छे से explanation आ जाता है.
So,
That
one suggestion, either go to the Google Baba or to a senior teacher. So guidance you will be getting from there. So Dr. Jyoti Bhajal, any question with you over there? You know, there is a student, Amreen Nazin, Chandni Pandey also, and then many others, Poonam and many others are saying, like they all have a hesitation. They all have a hesitation, or they are scared of talking in public because they feel if they're pronouncing anything wrong or they say any hard word, then in that case, people will be making fun of them. Hesitation is a major problem. As Dr. Jyoti is having a number of questions with her, Dr. Jyoti, please. Do you have any other question like the same, like having a problem?
Yes, ma'am. A student has asked that the grammatical English and spoken English, they are two different things. How to address this issue while speaking? Do we have to be aware of using the proper grammar, or how should we deal it? So over to you, Sudha ma'am.
Well, a very, very common question, grammatical English and spoken English. There is an essay, not essay, it's a transcript of an interview with George Bernard Shaw, spoken English and broken English. If you read that, it's very interesting. So, see, English is always English. It's standard if you take it. If you can speak in standard English, nothing better than that. Grammar has always its own significance. There is no difference between spoken English and written English. The only thing is people manage to become a little casual, or they use certain slang. People use some slang, or people use some filler phrases when they speak. When they write, we try to avoid filler phrases and slang. We try to make it standard. So if you can speak without those slang or filler words, nothing better than that. In spoken English, we use them just because we need a little space to speak. That is it. So how to deal? You don't have to deal with it. Let them be separate. There is a difference, yes, but when you are learning to speak, as in, you can learn to speak standard English only. Do not try to memorize that spoken English. But yes, these slang and filler words can come to your help when you are finding problem with fluency. So you can use words like, for example, if it is a simple sentence, English is very interesting. When you speak in spoken English, you would say English, well, seems to be a very interesting language to me. So you might add lot many filler words and slang in between. That is the only difference.
Yes. So I hope the problems have got solved. Another question? Dr. Jyoti, another question do you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
One more question from a student, that how to take up English speaking as a career option, especially in the present times. It's in the education industry, that many different types of jobs are coming up. So how to prepare oneself for that? Sudha ma'am, over to you.
All right. Preparing yourself for speaking again has the same root. It's not something that you take a tablet and it happens overnight. It takes the same process, learning the right vocabulary, practicing yourself before the mirror, trying to come up, first of all, the most important thing that everybody should understand is that beginning is always stressful. You will always have problems when you begin speaking, and you have to face it. That is what I keep telling my students also. When you begin speaking, there has to be a little bit of hesitation, embarrassment. People might laugh. You won't believe I have done such stupid errors in my earlier days. I used to speak stupid things. I started realizing later when I understood that, okay, this means this. Oh my God, how stupid I was when I said this to that particular person long back. So everybody makes mistakes. First of all, you have to make yourself understand this. Even the most fluent speaker of today must have made n number of stupid errors when he or she started.
Thank you, ma'am. Once again, this question is coming up. Which are the other avenues that are open up to people who have good spoken English, who have good speaking English skills, speaking skills, and also they are good in grammar. So what are the different avenues they can take up as a job besides teaching?
Lot many avenues are there. You can become a translator.
If you could throw light on some of them, our students would be more motivated to take up English.
You can become a translator. Very lucrative job nowadays. You can become a translator. You can become a professional anchor. You can go into journalism. Mass communication has very rich, very promising, lucrative opportunities. So mass communication is there. You can become an anchor. You can become a translator. You can become a media personnel. You can become a comparer to different events.
I think they can join the tourism industry also.
They can, of course.
Yes. Huh.
Tourism industry requires lot many
interpreter they can become. Yes.
So in mass comm, tourism, even translators job nowadays, there are every day I keep reading about a translator's position open. I always keep reading about professional speakers, professional anchors. In fact, speaking itself has become a business today.
Exactly. The same question I want to refer to Dr. V.K. Singh also, a senior faculty member, Dr. V.K. Singh. He is having general social awareness about the jobs also. V.K. sir, आप वहाँ हैं क्या? Dr. V.K. Singh, is he there? Okay, there was one question from a student that honestly speaking, since I thought English language is necessary, then she started working on it. The problem is on my vocabulary, number one, that is not strong. It breaks her sentences in the middle. And the second problem is while teaching English, I feel hesitation, and there is no problem in writing, reading, understanding, only speaking. She has to work on speaking. What to do, Sudha?
Ma'am, nothing. What can be done is only again, I gave you so many tips on enhancing your vocabulary, enriching your vocabulary. Use those tips, develop your mnemonics, develop the habit of reading, watching every day. Develop the habit of start visiting this vocab.com. There is also one more very interesting website, newslaundry.com. So every time you enter newslaundry.com, there is one very interesting discussion or debate going on one of the current social issues or political issues of the country. Listen to them. That's going to help you a lot. Second, when you are teaching in the classroom, words have connotative and denotative meaning, direct and indirect meaning of words. Every word has its contextual meaning. So when you are planning to teach something in the class, try to think, how can I associate this word to the real life of my students? They will definitely find it very interesting to listen to you.
Okay, yes, thank you. So, Dr. Jyoti Bajal,
Yes.
we have other questions also, yes, please.
Ma'am, one more question. Many students have a common this thing question they are posing, that how to overcome the fear psychosis that they have. Suppose if we tell one of them in the class that please get up and answer in English, they start tremoring. So how to overcome that kind of a response from their end?
Should I answer?
It's an
Yes,
important
ma'am,
question, ma'am. Yes.
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
very
Yes,
common
ma'am.
and important question. Yes. Yes, ma'am, please.
Hello.
Yes, Nirja, ma'am, please.
I just want to tell those students who have a fear psychosis. First of all, कि जो डरा वो मरा. Very simple thing, है ना? So there is nothing. And another thing, let me guide the students. एक तो ये चीज याद रखो, जो डरा वो मरा. Second is there is no a word no वाली बात जो है ना कि nothing, it's impossible वाली बात. There is no such word as impossible or it can't happen, cannot take place वाली चीज. कोई word ऐसा नहीं है that can never be absent in life. Everything is possible, nothing is impossible. वो positivity एक तो मन में develop करो. I mean, this is more psychological, let me tell you. This enhancement of the English speaking is more psychological. And whenever you are speaking, look straight ahead. Don't look at any audience. When the teacher is asking a question and you look at the teacher, you immediately forget, because instead of remembering what you have to answer, you are listening. Teacher जो है मुझे डांटेगी और टीचर को कहेगी कि याद भी नहीं करके आई हो कहानी. When I've learned everything and I know I can speak, but I'm not able to, because looking at the face is giving me a feeling of fear. Looking at my friends, I'm getting a feeling of fear, because what will they say? वे ये लोग क्या कहेंगे? एक तो ये fear has to be wiped out, eradicated from your mind. And another thing of gaining confidence is extempore speech. एक होता है extempore, that is with immediately at random you are asked to speak. Like कोई भी शब्द दे दिया. Like when I begin my class, I tell the children to speak few words on the topic myself. अपने ऊपर तो लोग बस कहते हैं I am so and so and I live in Allahabad, I study Nesses Khanna. बस इससे ज्यादा myself पे कुछ है ही नहीं. I mean, they cannot relate anything about myself. They cannot describe myself. So if I ask you to describe yourself in a paragraph or at least 10 sentences, then talk. And when you are talking, then say anything about yourself. That is, you can even say, I look good, or I dress up in salwar suit, or I wear jeans and pants. Kuch bhi bolo, but say something about yourself. Isn't it? It is not only your name and your college in which you are studying. Give the name of your parents, or that before this I was studying in Arya Kanya or I was studying elsewhere. Say something. So extempore bolne ki koshish karo. And if you are having a fear in the class, do it at home. Take up any damn topic. Like even if you are eating a dinner, so dinner pe hi hame bolna hai 5 minutes. And say anything about dinner. You start speaking to yourself. Apne aap bolte raho. So, this gives you the habit. This develops the confidence. I can speak. That's all.
Maybe. Very well said, ma'am. There are students, in my classes, at times I find the most amazing answers in broken English from my students. Only they need a little motivation, and you would find that these people are so full of ideas. Others would speak in wonderful English, but the idea might not be that good. But these people sometimes give you wonderful answers in broken English. So do not fear the situation. You might come up with impressive answers later on. So at least you need to try.
Okay. You know, there's one more interesting question, ma'am. And Dr. Sudha, the question is, can we as future teachers bring any kind of changes in our lecture method of teaching that would make students feel more brave and motivated to speak up and use the language in order to express themselves? So they want a change in the methodology of teaching.
That is what I'm doing almost in my every class. I experiment with the way I teach, you know. I come up with new ideas every day. I never teach in traditional lecture method. None of my classes are traditional lecture method. I play a lot too many things with my students. So you as teachers can devise activities. We can do one small, we don't have time, otherwise I would have demonstrated you activities which you can do in your class, so that your students want to attend your class every day.
Exactly.
That could be done. For example, you want them to speak, you want to motivate them to speak, so the best way could be play a game with them. Let us say you blindfold. In my teaching kit, you would find n number of things all the time. I've been doing it even in the classes of my master's classes. When I teach master's students, I have blindfolds with me, I have toothpicks with me, I have balloons with me when I go to my English classes. So I would blindfold one student and write a word on the board, and I would ask a bunch of students to describe that word to the person who is blindfolded. And the motivation is, I'll give you +2 in your internal assessment if you are able to do it. And when they describe the word and I get the right answer from the blindfolded person, that joy is boundless on the face of the students. Because they feel like winners, you know.
That's true. That is fun. Introducing fun in learning. That is important.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, like you are doing, ma'am, Nirja ma'am, like you are, organizing the drama activities.
Yes.
She has done that in the past, and it was so fascinating. It developed an interest among the students.
Come up with something interesting.
Yes.
Make them
Yes, ma'am.
act out little scenes, little parts, and that will make it interesting. And give appreciation to the students, and then they will learn. That's a very important thing.
Exactly.
That children should get appreciation from the teachers all the time, whatever little they do, even if it's
Manju
one
ma'am,
step.
yes,
That
Manju
big
ma'am is
step
there on the screen. Manju ma'am, do you have some wise words for our students? क्योंकि आपने हिंदी मीडियम इंग्लिश मीडियम दोनों के बच्चों को आप देख रही हैं.
हाँ, दोनों को देख रहे हैं, और ये कहना है कि आज हमारे बच्चों ने बहुत सारी ऐसी हल्की फुल्की चीजें सीखी हैं जिसके थ्रू वो अपने अंदर इतना ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं, ग्रोथ कर सकते हैं. मैम ने भी बिल्कुल ऐसे लाइट चीजें बताई, नीरजा मैम ने भी, और सुधा ने भी बहुत अच्छी. सुधा छोटी हो इसलिए सुधा कह दे रहे हैं.
That makes you feel so connected.
हाँ, तो आ गए. हाँ, शायद आ गए.
मेरा ख्याल है अगर मंजू मैम के बाद हम चाहें कि सर अपने कुछ वाइज वर्ड्स को दें. मंजू मैम प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
यही मेरा कहना था कि इतनी सरल और सीधी चीजें मैम ने भी बताई और सुधा ने भी बताई, जिसके लिए बहुत एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सिर्फ नई ट्रिक्स के थ्रू वो अपनी इंग्लिश भाषा को बहुत ज्यादा डेवलप कर सकते हैं. फियर वगैरह तो अंदर ही होता है ना, उसको निकालने के लिए हमें किसी और ट्रिक की जरूरत नहीं है. तो थैंक यू शालिनी मैम.
थैंक यू मंजू मैम. ज्योति मैम, वीके सर से कुछ पूछा जाए, कुछ टिप्स उनसे मांगी जाए, वो वहाँ है क्या?
Yes ma'am, you can call VK sir.
हमारे पास अरुणा मैम, रंजना मैम, सबका उनका सीरीज में शुरू होगा, तब डिस्कशंस बहुत सारे होंगे. तो ज्योति मैम, कुछ और क्वेश्चंस बचे हैं क्या? मेरे ख्याल से सबका आंसर होगा.
Yes, all the questions have been taken up, ma'am.
Yes. So I think it was a very good session. और हमारे साथ में हमारे स्टाफ की ममता मैम जुड़ी हुई हैं क्या? ममता मैम, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
अरे ममता मैम, इतने सारे वेबिनार सेमिनार अटेंड कर रही हैं, कुछ तो बोलिए बच्चों इतनी प्रॉब्लम।
शालिनी मैम, मैं कुछ बोल सकती हूँ?
हाँ, मंजी मैम बोल रही हैं। शालिनी
मंजरी मैम इज देयर?
बिल्कुल मैम।
सुधा से अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो तो टाइम नहीं था तो पूरी पीपीटी स्टूडेंट्स ने देखी नहीं है।
यस मैम।
अगर वो पीपीटी सेंड कर देंगी तो हम लोग अपने फैकल्टी में उसको पूरा दिखा सकेंगे।
यस मैम, ये रिक्वेस्ट हम ऑलरेडी इनको भेज चुके हैं मैसेज में।
हाँ, शेयर कर देंगी तो वो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप जो बना है
फिर
उसपे
आप लोग फैकल्टी में इसको दिखा सकेंगे तो बच्चे
I will share, but then eventually उसमें ऐसा बात करने के लिए बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स हैं, but then these points talk about. वो
हाँ,
मैं दिखाऊंगी वो वर्ड्स तो
केवल देखने से बात नहीं बनेगी जब तक वो डिस्कस, ये तो है ही है।
टॉक्ड अबाउट वो वर्ड्स
एग्जैक्टली,
बहुत छोटे छोटे वर्ड्स हैं, so we need to talk about them. मैं
तो-
ब्रेक दूंगी, बट
और नहीं तो फिर आप इसी सीरीज में एक दिन केवल सुधा को कॉल कर लीजिए।
जी मैम, ये भी बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है।
हाँ,
दैट्स अ ग्रेट आइडिया।
क्योंकि सीरीज तो ही लंबी, आप फिर से कॉल कर लीजिए क्योंकि सच में उसको टाइम पूरा मिल जाएगा तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा।
सुधा से खाली एक लेक्चर करा लो, अ लेक्चर बाय सुधा करके।
यस,
हाँ,
और उसमें कुछ नहीं, बस स्टार्ट कर दो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए।
जी मैम,
है ना?
हाँ।
ममता मैम कुछ कहने वाली थी बच्चों से, देखिए।
मैम, शालिनी मैम, थैंक्स फॉर कॉलिंग मी। मैं बच्चों से तो हर रोज बात करती ही हूँ, पर आज मुझे सुधा मैम से कहना है, जिनसे मैं बहुत इंस्पायर हुई हूँ। मैं उनका सुन रही थी सुबह लेक्चर शुरुआत से, तो कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो मुझे आज इसलिए इंस्पायर करी क्योंकि मेरी शुरुआत भी जो एजुकेशन की वैसे ही हुई थी। मैंने क्लास 3rd तक जो अपना एजुकेशन किया था वहां पर हिंदी ही थी, इंग्लिश थी ही नहीं। इतनी छोटी जगह में पढ़ते थे वो, कुछ पहले 6th क्लास से इंग्लिश स्टार्ट होती थी, तो मेरी स्कूलिंग भी जो है वो 3rd तक विदाउट इंग्लिश हुई। फिर जब मैं दूसरे जगह पर मेरे पेरेंट्स का ट्रांसफर हुआ तो मैंने एक ऐसा स्कूल में ज्वाइन किया जो वहाँ जहाँ इंग्लिश थी कंपलसरी। तो उसी क्लास को मैंने दोबारा से किया क्योंकि विदाउट इंग्लिश उन्होंने मुझे सेम क्लास में ही लिया, एंटर किया। और जो फर्स्ट जो सेशनल जो थे वो टर्म होते थे और मैं फेल हो गई थी उसमें, क्योंकि आता ही नहीं था। लेकिन वहां पर मैंने रोका नहीं और घर वालों की भी सपोर्ट थी, तो मैं पास होती चली गई। लेकिन फिर भी वो फ्लुएंसी मैंने नहीं अपने अंदर फिर भी डेवलप कर पाई, क्योंकि ऑल द स्कूल एजुकेशन ऑल थ्रू मैंने हिंदी मीडियम ही पढ़ाई की। बट स्टिल अपने आप को बहुत ज्यादा मैंने अपने आप को डेवलप करने की, इंग्लिश में अपने आप को एनहांस करने की कोशिश की। बट आज सुधा मैम आपने मुझे बताया, आज आपके लेक्चर से मुझे लगा कि आपने ऑलमोस्ट 8th से कॉन्वेंट ज्वाइन किया और उसके बाद आपको बहुत ही कम समय लगा और आपको बहुत मोटिवेशनल आपको पर्सनल भी मिले जिन्होंने आपको मोटिवेट किया। और आज आप देखिए यहाँ पर इंग्लिश के लैंग्वेज एनहांसमेंट के लिए यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट्स को मोटिवेट कर रही हैं। तो डेफिनेटली मुझे लग रहा है मैं एक ऐसे एडिटोरियल को पढ़ना शुरू करती हूँ और आफ्टर 5 months मेरा वो एडिटोरियल भी वो ग्रीन कलर से ही होगा। आई लाइक इट
मैम, for definitely for sure it's going to happen.
ममता जी, इन्होंने जो सुधा मैम ने अभी दिया है ना लास्ट में 3-4 लिंक जो दिए हैं,
यस मैम,
हाँ उसको हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं।
मैम मुझे लगता है लिंक से ज्यादा उनकी जो उनका जो पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है और जो वो उन्होंने जो शेयर किए वो ज्यादा इंस्पायर कर रहा है मुझे। तो थैंक्स अ लॉट मैम। और नीरजा मैम,
क्या होता है, बच्चे इंग्लिश को सब्जेक्ट मान के देखते हैं, इसलिए कभी सीख नहीं पाते। Look at it as a language. Don't look at it as a subject.
Yes, exactly, ma'am.
The day you stop looking at it as a subject, learning becomes easier. Don't look at it. English एक subject है.
Thanks, ma'am. Wonderful session के लिए आपको again thanks. शालिनी मैम,
मजेदार सा अनुभव रहा है कि जब बहुत गुस्सा आता है तो अंग्रेजी मुंह से ज्यादा अच्छी निकलती है। जब किसी को गुस्सा उतरता है तो शायद ये अच्छे टिप नहीं है, लेकिन ये मेरा अनुभव जरूर रहा है।
Good to feel anger जब आपको अच्छी इंग्लिश बोलती है।
उस समय आपको हेजिटेशन, को डर कुछ नहीं फील करते। You just go into aggression and speak and speak and speak. तो ये आज का सेशन बहुत अच्छा रहा, मैं समझती हूँ। इसको अगर विराम दें तो हम उसके लिए ज्योति बैजल मैम से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि वो इसको कंक्लूड करने के लिए प्लीज संभालें।
हेलो।
हाँ,
हाँ,
Ma'am, I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. आप कुछ कहें, एक सेंटेंस में आपके जरूर बोल दूं कि ये जो आज का सारा टेक्निकल मोर्चा संभाला है, ये कल से लेके अब तक ज्योति मैम संभाल रही हैं, और अगर इनका साथ ना होता तो मैं कई जगह बीच में मुझे बहुत दिक्कतें होती. तो आई एम जस्ट वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू ऑल एवरीबडी, टू ऑल द मेंबर्स इन माय स्टाफ, एंड स्पेशली टू ज्योति बच्चन.
Thank you, Shalini ma'am. Yes, thank you, Shalini ma'am. It was only cooperation, coordination that could make the things possible. When the events are for our students, it is an integral part of our duty to cooperate with each other and make each other learn also the technical things that have come up, that have become so important in the present times. Thank you. It is just a formal this thing that I would accord my
माइक इको कर रहा है.
to our resource persons. Dr. Nirja has been with us and given so many important inputs, how to deal with English language, how to take up the spoken words, how to speak up, how to overcome the fear psychosis. It's been very good for our students. I believe they will now shed their fear and start speaking in English more, because it is very important. This kind of pupil teachers that we have, most of them, they come from the Hindi background, and this is the, I believe, the time that they can learn to overcome this hesitation of speaking English, because from here now they'll go on to take up jobs, or perhaps some of them would go for higher education, and there too, as higher you go, you get to know the literature and studies and so on more in English. So today's the Neeta ma'am gave, Sudha ma'am gave, it was all ma'am for sparing some time for our students and even for us. When I started listening to you, Nirja ma'am, I was listening to you as a student today. It was my first time that I was a student before you, and I would hear once again quote Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He said, "When we think we know, we cease to learn." So today, I perhaps, like all other students, even I was sitting here and listening very carefully, and I have also learned how to improve yourself in your skills. It's, yes, you talked about English, but whatever you talked about, if we relate it with all other types of skills that are important for personality development, certainly it will apply. That learning will apply on the development of other skills also. I would now, I am very grateful to our principal ma'am and our coordinator ma'am for giving us, the teachers, this opportunity to organize such a program for the students and call resource persons who are, one of them, the students are known to her, they know her, and Sudha Mishra ma'am also. Now that you have come to our platform, you are our family member now. We'll keep in touch with you. We'll let the students interact with you in the future also. Then Manjari ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
इसके बाद में हम जो रंजना मैम होंगी तो उनका वो जो था ना रेफरेंस
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am, I'm just finishing off.
You continue, you also finish that.
Give a special thanks to Manjari ma'am. When Manjari ma'am you began, it was so nice listening to your voice, the modulation, the way you related the story.
I think there is some problem, technical problem, I suppose. Jyoti is not audible to us. Jyoti ma'am, are you there? Okay, so she was, concluding with, thankful note to Manjari ma'am, and who started, with such a warmth and inspiring the students with this story. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And our resource persons, we are, of course, very thankful to them. Manjari ma'am is there now. Manjari ma'am, Jyoti was, was very thankful to you also, like for telling such an inspiring story and starting in such a, special manner.
Now you,
Hello, Jyoti. There? Yes.
yes, ma'am, you can hear me. I somehow the connection
Yes.
got disconnected. Yes. So I extend my heartfelt thanks to our faculty members also who were with us, who shared their experiences with the students. I am last but not the least. I am thankful to the students who joined us and who have been integral part of the program. Without their presence, this program did not have any meaning. It was for them. They also showed great enthusiasm, posing questions in the chat box, and they perhaps were so enthusiastic about the event that they shared their questions a day before also. So a very thank you to all of you. And now over to you, Shalini ma'am, for the next announcement.
Okay, Jyoti, thank you so much. Ranjana ma'am, I wanted to call Ranjana ma'am if she's there. Actually, she had conveyed a message.
जी हाँ
Ranjana ma'am, welcome you are. Yes, thank you, please
Thank
come join us. And
Yes,
आपने
yes,
बोल
ma'am.
दीजिए जो बोलना है, जो announcement था, please.
थैंक यू मैम कि आपने मुझे ये अवसर दिया। मैं डॉक्टर मंजरी शुक्ला मैम कोऑर्डिनेटर और अपनी उप प्राचार्य डॉक्टर नीरजा सचदेवा जी का स्वागत प्रणाम नमस्कार करती हूँ। अपने सारे सहयोगियों का भी बहुत बहुत प्रणाम और नमस्कार करती हूँ। जैसा कि आज इस सीरीज का शुभारंभ किया है हम लोगों ने, तो इंग्लिश का व्याख्यान हम लोगों ने आयोजित कराया है। इसी क्रम में हम इस श्रृंखला को आगे जारी रखेंगे। तो बहुत जल्द ही हम संस्कृत का व्याख्यान आयोजित करेंगे, जिसमें कि लड़कियों को बहुत सारी असुविधाएं होती हैं। छात्राध्यापिकाओं को उच्चारण और वर्तनी के संबंधित बहुत ज्यादा कठिनाइयां आती हैं। उसके संबंध में हम बात करेंगे और अपने व्याख्यानकर्ता को आमंत्रित करेंगे। तो हम अपने छात्राध्यापिकाओं से ये कहना चाहते हैं कि आप निरंतर हमसे जुड़े रहें और बहुत जल्दी ही हम आपको डेट डिसाइड करके बताएंगे। थैंक यू, सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Ranjana. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. And we are searching for another opportunity to join the same way, all together and very early. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nisha ma'am. And Sudha, thank you, Kya? We are very happy with you for coming over here.
Thank you. Feels
And
like
thank you,
family,
Manjari ma'am.
it gives me so much of nostalgia. Coming back to
I know.
the institution and seeing
thanks.
all people makes me so emotional.
Oh, really? And thanks all my colleagues, who very patiently were, listening to all the things. To everyone.
आपको भी बधाई हो शालिनी जी।
अरे भाई बहुत जरूरी है ये मोटिवेशन मेरे लिए भी।
हाँ बहुत जरूरी है।
Okay, so good night everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye, Sudha.
Bye, ma'am. Bye. It's always
Bye,
so
Vida.
lovely.
So nice to
It's
see you.
always so
How are
lovely.
you?
Sorry to interrupt.
I
I'm
am
sorry to
good, ma'am. Absolutely.
सबको गुड नाइट।
चलो बहुत
Shalini
अच्छा
ma'am,
लगा।
Shalini ma'am, have you shared the feedback link?
हाँ अच्छा।
Shalini ma'am,
फीडबैक लिंक, फीडबैक
ma'am, have
लिंक।
you
Yes,
shared
yes,
the
yes,
feedback
yes.
link?
हाँ बिल्कुल।
Then because thereafter, once you've shared the feedback link, thereafter I will close.
Okay, okay, Jyoti, yes. Close the screen and just feedback पे चले जाओ।
Dear students, dear participants, we are sharing the feedback link here in the chat box. And it will be shared on the WhatsApp group that we have formed for the event. If you are not able to access here, you can access it from the WhatsApp group. But do fill the feedback form, that will make you eligible for the e-certification.
How are you, Nirja ma'am? I'm so overwhelmed to see you.
I know. Matlab ki, apart from the session, this is our personal this thing. You are still in Gwalior, na, Sudha?
Yes, ma'am. I'm still in Gwalior. Yes.
Okay, we're still working.
The
In
feedback
fact, I mean, you should
has
think-
been shared in the chat box. And I think because we are going to circulate the e-certificates also. So it's very important for everybody to fill the feedback form, and we will be circulating the e-certificates afterwards as soon as possible. Is it
So
okay?
that's
Ma'am, kindly,
then I'll come to
ma'am,
Gwalior.
kindly
Yes, ma'am.
share
Please
the
do. I'll be looking forward to it.
feedback form in the WhatsApp group also, ma'am. You have
मौका लगा
formed,
तो आएंगे.
Okay, okay.
I
I have announced it.
लेकिन एक बार
Yes,
अब
ma'am.
it was beautiful. I liked Gwalior.
Yes, it is an
बहुत अच्छा लगा
amazing
था.
place, ma'am. Please do come. I'll be looking
हाँ.
forward to the day. I'm planning
Yes,
to travel
yes.
to Allahabad soon, probably next month. Then I'll
Oh,
definitely come to the
wow.
college.
Please, जरूर आओ.
I'll get to meet you people personally then.
Yeah, definitely come over to our place.
Shalini ma'am, now we can end the meeting.
WhatsApp group we are
Okay.
sharing. Yes, we can end the meeting.
Okay.
WhatsApp group we are sharing.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
bye all of you.
Bye,
सब
ma'am.
लोग
Bye.
Joshi,
Bye, Sudha.
All right, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Shalini, everybody,
Anjali,
thank you
ma'am.
so
Thank
much.
you very much for
Ranjana.
having me.
Okay.
Yes, we have shared
Sudha,
WhatsApp group also.
आओगी तो
Jyoti.
Good
मिलोगी
night,
जरूर आप
सबको.
लोगों से.
Good night,
Shalini,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.
Shalini ma'am,
Bye,
Shalini
bye.
ma'am,
Bye, bye. नहीं,
we
फिर
all
मिलते हैं.
go.
फिर
Let us
मिलते
have
हैं.
Sudha,
Bye.
Sudha,
have over here.
let me
All the
tell you, ये
teachers
सब लोग बहुत
and all
अच्छे
the
लोग हैं. मतलब
responsible
I love
persons.
to be
Right,
with
ma'am?
them. Hardly time मिलता है यहाँ रहने का.
थैंक यू नीरजा मैम.
But ये लोग सब लोग मेरा बहुत कम साथ होता है इन लोग से, लेकिन जब भी होता है तो लगता है.
I have been in touch with Shalini ma'am, but since my
Hello.
of B.Ed. So she's
Hello,
the one
Shobhit.
I remember the most from that time itself. Nirja ma'am has been a person who has actually carved me into the shape which I am today. So
Hello, Shobhit. Okay. So,
Okay, then
Bye-bye,
bye
all
bye,
of you.
Nirja. Thank
all
you so
right,
much.
thank you so much.
Bye,
ma'am.
Sudha.
It's just a lovely experience. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll meet